Good afternoon, everyone. Amazing to see the turnout here. I'm really excited to chat to you guys about this. So I'm going to speak to you about how we came to bring James into our ecosystem. And I think that starts with talking about a challenge which many of you will be familiar with. As modern digital businesses, we all face a similar challenge, which is how do you communicate and build meaningful relationships with consumers at scale and at cost. A great way of looking at this is to understand this 21st century problem is to actually go back to the 1950s. And in the 1950s, it was a lot easier to build relationships with customers that were meaningful for a variety of different reasons. But if say you owned a corner shop, you'd go in, you would prepare the order for the customer. It'd probably be like a newspaper, it'd be some sundries and what have you. You'd know the customer's name, you know what they were interested in, you know what they were afraid of. It was a simpler time, and you would know that broadly that customer was probably going to come back, and in no small way because of the interaction that you would have had with them. Obviously, things are very different. Things have changed considerably since the days of Attlee and Churchill. Modern businesses can individualize communication as a way of making relationships more meaningful, but it's not cost effective, it's not operationally efficient. As audiences and their expectations change, the line between hygiene, progress, and innovation becomes ever more blurred. And so as businesses that are trying to maintain a competitive advantage, how do we keep up with this? How do we create relationships at scale and at cost that are meaningful? I think the reality is that most businesses don't really do this. I think this is what I like to call CRM nirvana. Essentially, you know who you're talking to, you know what you want to say, and you know how you're going to say it in a way that is going to be meaningful for the individual with which you're communicating. And so really, this is all about knowing your customer in a very deep way. So knowing that actually Dave is different from Cheryl, and that one of them is going to prefer content about style and the other one is going to prefer content about business, and that they're going to want to receive that content at a certain time in a certain format. For us, we've been trying to approach this challenge for many years. My career and many others in this room have been defined by actually trying to approach this challenge. At the Times and the Sunday Times, we have used data as ethically as possible and towards effective ends to make sure that we are building out meaningful relationships with customers as best we can without compromising. So that means making sure that data is imbued across every touch point in our customer lifecycle. And over time, we've built this out very effectively. We've seen great increases in consumer engagement that have led to reductions in churn. It's never enough, is it? Our targets aren't going anywhere. We should always strive to be better. We should always strive to be as meaningful as possible, to demonstrate that we actually understand our customers and, more importantly, have empathy for them, which is that they are at the center of our world or at the center of our businesses. To go back to our life cycle, we've created a mix of proactive communication and reactive communication. It's wholly data-driven and trigger-based. It's highly personalized as best we can, with a huge amount of investment in automation and sophisticated segmentation. We also have a fully prepped call center where agents are fully engaged with our content and our writers. They know how to save effectively without having to rely on discounting, and they've won several awards. While we've been on this journey, we've discovered something really interesting, which has informed why we created James. We discovered that habit delivers the highest return. And what you're seeing here is a graph of our subscriber base plotted by their engagement levels. So on the left, you have low engaged, on the right, you have high engaged, and this is juxtaposed with churn. So the line you can see is highest on the left and lowest on the right, which effectively is saying the more engaged you are, the less likely you are to leave. And surprisingly, I think when we discovered this, it was pretty groundbreaking for us. It basically says that regardless of tenure, it's all about your habit. It's all about the depth of the relationship you have with us as a brand. And so we've been chasing this. We've been chasing this nirvana as best we can, being able to effectively say, do you know what? We know who you are, we know what you want, and we know how you want it delivered. That's why we've created James. James, as you've heard, is a collaborative partnership with Twipe, partially funded by the Google Digital News Innovation Fund. And it is the technology which is allowing us to really meet that challenge with gusto. It's allowing us to deliver better individualized customer experiences, not just experiences or content at the segment level, but at the individual level, which traditionally has been cost prohibitive. So it means that the aspiration has been that we're going to have stronger growth, that we're going to have unprecedented levels of operational efficiency through machine learning, which is the less sexy bit, but if you're a geek like me, it's actually very important because it reduces operational expenditure over time. So what does this mean? It means we're going to be more relevant for consumers, we're going to give them the right content at the right time, in the right channel, and actually over time demonstrate that we can anticipate their needs. We're putting the personal back into personalization, if you like. This is an example of what we've done. Basically, James is distributing our edition content to each user based on a learned preference. So it's taking all content from across all of our editions and serving them to individuals based on what we think they're going to be interested in. So on this side, you've got like a mid-engaged customer who's a trialist from a specific day, and this is what they're going to get. And then you've got a low-engaged customer who's, say, fully paid on the same day, and that's what they're going to get. This is more than just content recommendation. It is, content recommendation on steroids, if you like, where it's not just about saying, we know what you want, but we're saying we know when you want it and how you want it delivered. Personalization is personal. So for us, it really is about trying to demonstrate this value and balance the equation as best as possible. With ever decreasing prices in the market and ever more consumer promiscuity, it's important that we're able to do this as brands. It's important that we're able to demonstrate to consumers that actually we get you, we understand you, and we know what you want and we can deliver. For us, the reason we created James was all about unlocking empathy. It was about balancing the value equation. It's a combination of a great human-led product and AI-driven customer marketing. And we were hoping to enable positive consumer experiences that drive significant results. Ethical and effective data has made this possible, and it's consumer empathy that makes it valuable. And it's how we've aspired to redefine what it means to be a premium news brand in the 21st century. Thanks.